Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. Um, so I was gonna give a prayer that God had me work on yesterday, but God gave me a dream last night and wanted me to speak on it. And this is for all the women of God, all the women who follow Christ and who follow God. The women who feel like their tongue is tied, I'm getting the impression of tongues being tied. Um, the women who feel like their voice is being drowned out or they're afraid to speak. So if you're a man, just know that this is for the women of God. Um, okay. God gave me a dream last night, and it's just a little bit of a weird dream, but it is specific and it is for someone out there. Um, and then I'm going to give you the dream. Then he's going to have me speak on a couple of things that he wants you to know about. In this dream, there was two different scenarios, but kind of meant the same thing. The first part was it was a group of women, and they were standing on a stage, and they had just given birth to dragon eggs, specifically dragon eggs. There were some beautiful ones that just were encrusted with jewels, completely beautiful. There were some that were less beautiful but just sparkly, and then there were some that were dull, like absolute just dull, gray, brown, dull. And the ones that didn't have jewels on them and the ones that were dull, these women were afraid to show their dragon eggs. They were hesitant and didn't want to be judged unfairly because of their eggs. And in the second scenario, it's kind of the same as the first, except this was in a kind of a classroom setting, and these women were all sitting down at school desks, and in front of them was a bowl of water, and their dragon egg was kind of floating in it. And there was a teacher or someone who had authority walking around and judging the eggs. And again, the women with the little sparkly eggs or the ones that were dull were very hesitant. They didn't want their eggs judged. And then God gave me the meaning behind this. Now, I had to be specific because this is speaking to somebody. But the meaning behind this dream is that these are not eggs, but dreams. God is giving dreams to women of God. And some of you are very hesitant to speak on your dreams. You're afraid you're going to be judged for them. Some dreams may not be so pretty. Pretty much, you're afraid of being judged. But let me speak on this for a minute. This was me a while ago. I was afraid of being judged. I think that comes with a lot of us, but we all know that these are the last days before God returns and calls us home. And God is calling all of us, women, men, even some children, to stand up for Him, to speak on what He's giving to us to talk about. I've talked about dreams I've had before, and yeah, you're going to be judged. People are going to say stuff, but you know what? You cannot control what other people say. You can only control what you do and what God is asking you to do. And someone out there maybe a group of women. God is speaking to you. He's giving you dreams. He's giving you visions. He's giving you things to speak on, and you are afraid to speak on it. God will use everybody in these last days. Be it man, woman, child, it doesn't matter. He is using us to glorify his name and to bring more people into his kingdom. And that's all that it's about. He loves us and he wants to save everybody. So speak what God is having you speak. And he gave me 2 different women of the Bible to tell you about. The first is Deborah, and you'll find her story in Judges 4 and 5. She was the only female judge in Israel. She was a prophetess, she was a military leader, and she helped usher in a 40-year period of peace for Israel. So yeah, she was a female, and God used her. So there's many instances in the Bible where God has used women. So don't let your voice be stifled by what you think men are going to say or your husband. God wants to use everybody in these last days. And the second woman that God wants me to speak on is Jael. Her name is Jael. She's in Judges chapter 5. And she was just a wife. Her husband was a shepherd and he was out tending the sheep. She was at home in her tent taking care of the house. And a fleeing commander of the Canaanite army named Sisera came and sought refuge in her tent. And because he was the leader of the army, and she was like, okay, sure, come in. She gave him food, offered him a place to sleep. And while he was sleeping, she drove a tent peg through his temple and killed him. So there are 2 instances right there where God had used women. And I know a lot of us women are hesitant to speak out because of what Paul has said in 1 Corinthians, that it's going to be chapter 14, how he basically says women shouldn't be speaking in the church. Well, let me address that. During that whole time, that was a letter to the Corinthian church. Paul specifically addressed that situation, saying he did not want women speaking because at that time, everybody in the church, a lot of women were speaking in tongues and they were speaking over one another, and there was no interpretation for the tongues. So Paul specifically addressed that, saying, no, this has got to stop. Women need to stop speaking, just to stop this chaotic issue that was happening in the church. So don't let that sit with you and say, no, women cannot speak. Yes, women can speak, and God has used women throughout the whole Bible to speak his words and to prophesy. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. And this has occurred throughout the whole Bible. When God wants to meet with or speak with men, they have to go on a journey to the wilderness or the desert to meet with God. When God wanted to meet with women, he met them where they were. So God will meet you where you are. He will give you the strength to speak what you need to speak. But don't be ashamed of what God has given you, and let the chips fall where they may, because that's how it's going to be in this world. But I love you guys. Women, I pray for courage for you. I hope you guys have a great day. I know this is a little bit long, but I love you guys. Have a great day. I hope this blesses you.